Welcome to another episode of the Psychology of Marriage Success. I'm here with my buddy,
Victor Onochie.
And my name is Adaeze Chiwoko from Marriage for Real. And in this episode, we're talking about why conflict is not such a bad thing in your marriage. But first, as always, we need some coffee.
Wisdom.
Brought to us by Zuma Coffee, who is partnering with this podcast, and so every week we get some amazing coffee.
So we're having sweet potato. You probably go to the site. Yeah. So at Zuma Coffee _ at Instagram, and then get sweet potato.
Sweet potato or potato?
No, I think it's a seed.
Okay, sweet potato.
Okay.
Also, don't forget that if you go ahead and put your order in now, you will get 10% off delivery.
Yep.
Awesome. Let me get another sip of this, and then we can talk about this thing called conflict, which conflict has a bad rep.
Yeah.
Right? Whenever we hear the word conflict,
it's like fighting.
Yeah. It has a negative connotation.
Yeah.
But we've entitled this episode "Why Conflict Isn't Such a Bad Thing." So people are probably a little bit confused, because surely conflict is always bad. So I want you to use your brain and just give us your own definition of conflict first of all. What is it? Because like you said, people think it's like, let's have a fight.
It's people having a passionate discussion on ideas, like an argument basically on ideas. So I have to put that there, so that the argument thing. That's what conflict is. Either disagreeing or agreeing.
Right.
Basically, that's what conflict is.
Right. When we don't see eye to eye on something, and we might enter into a debate, right? Because we have completely different perspectives.
Exactly.
We are potentially heading into conflict,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
There's a bit of a bumping of heads.
True.
Rather than a meeting of minds.
Exactly.
Did you see what I did
I like
there?
that. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
So when it's in marriage, though, what I found is that many couples, because we believe that conflict is such a bad thing, many couples will do all that they can to avoid conflict, thinking that that is going to be the best way to have a wholesome, thriving, happy marriage.
Yeah.
And actually, from the work that I've done with couples, I found that the couples who avoid conflict, actually, they're not really avoiding conflict. What they're doing is they're piling up conflict.
Yes. Yeah.
They're piling up issues that at some point is going to blow up, and they will have the biggest level of conflict that they've ever experienced, right?
Yeah, true. Obviously, what happens is it could grow up to resentments. That's what might happen over time, because especially if one person is feeling subdued, not being able to express his or herself. Most times it happens with probably the female, the lady. And when that happens over time, they start checking out. And maybe after a while, maybe the guy starts feeling like she doesn't even listen to me anymore. She probably listens more to people outside, things like that. So the thing with conflict, I would say, is, I showed you something before we started from Patrick Lencioni, a book he wrote, which was called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team.
Very good.
And marriage is actually teamwork. And basically, he said the first thing, the first platform, or do I say the first thing, was absence of trust. So marriage has to be built on trust. And for marriage to be built on trust, there has to be some level of vulnerability, some level of trying to understand the other person, trying to meet. Okay.
What I say is that if we're married, then we're seeking to have deep levels of intimacy with somebody.
That's it.
That's what marriage is.
That's it.
But it's impossible to have deep levels of intimacy without vulnerability.
True.
But then it's impossible to have true vulnerability without trust.
Trust, exactly. So it's almost like a dance that will be happening as a relationship is happening. It's like the onion shedding off of the different levels to get deep.
Oh, like that.
Yeah.
The onion.
So in doing that, you get to a point where you guys get to a core. And when the level at which you guys get to a certain level of in that core of the relationship, that's the point where you can move to the next level where you guys can have healthy conflict. Yeah, because without the trust, you can't have healthy conflicts.
No.
You can't have because the ability to express yourself passionately, I have to know that we're doing this for the best of us. Because what really is supposed to be happening when you are having conflicts is you're arguing ideas. What is the best for the marriage? What's the best for us?
But don't you find that many couples feel like, because I hear them say this, oh, well, we never have an argument, we never have any conflict. And they really feel like, you know, that's what makes us a good marriage. But actually, I get a bit concerned because that means that at some point in your relationship, somebody is suppressing
true
how they truly feel.
Because there's no way two people just
agree on absolutely everything.
There's no way.
There's no chance.
Yes.
So somebody's suppressing, somebody's avoiding, somebody is brushing things under the carpet, somebody is building up resentment, somebody feels that they can't speak their own mind, somebody is not being honest about how they truly feel. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, over time.
It definitely is.
And it might not allow the marriage to experience its full potential. You know, it could get to a point where it's really more comfortable. And yeah, you're happy, comfortable, but then the both of you could have had even a better experience, a more meaningful experience. Because like I would say marriage is the bedrock, is the platform that makes it possible for the couples to express themselves to the fullest, to pursue their highest aspirations, and to create that nurturing ground for the kids too, to thrive.
Right.
You understand? So there's always going to be the idea of the vision, where you guys are going to in the marriage. And you guys should be able to talk about these things. And we're not saying that you should just create conflict for the sake of conflict.
That's what I was thinking in my head. That it's not like we're not saying go out there and just start having arguments for argument's sake because Victor and Adaeze said it's good. So I am going to go out now.
No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is where the need arises. Be
prepared to talk about
stuff.
Have those difficult conversations. Yes. That's what I think when you call a conflict a difficult, hard conversation, it takes away the idea of an argument. Because I feel like when you say argument, it makes you feel like we've got to have a fight. But no, we can have a back and forth, difficult conversation, rattle with it a bit, and it feels uncomfortable. We might be addressing something that we don't really want to address, but we know we have to. That feels like conflict, and that's fine. It doesn't have to go to 100.
Yeah, it could be about something like maybe the school the child will go to, for instance. You know, the husband might have, based on where he's coming from, you know, his experience growing up, he might have his ideas of what he wants, and the wife probably has her ideas of what she wants. The idea, so this is now, it's a conflict. It's a point where there are two different ideas. The goal is, first of all, because there's trust within themselves, they know that what they are looking for, this is the psychology now, is they want the best. They're looking for the best.
Listen, you've hit on the main thing that I find. This is what makes it a healthy conversation.
Yes, it's not a competition.
It's not a competition. And there's an understanding that underneath this difference in opinion is a meeting of minds of our desire, of the vision.
Yes, of the vision.
So the vision is we want the best for our kids. Exactly. And we agree.
Exactly.
And so that's why it doesn't, and this is why I say to my couple, it doesn't have to turn into World War III.
No, it doesn't.
Because underneath it all, you guys want the same thing, right? We've got this shared goal. We want to have a happy marriage. We want to be happily in love. We want our children to thrive.
To have the best.
So underneath every marital issue are those fundamentals. So, okay, we disagree maybe about the route. You know, you think you should take the M1. I think we should take the M6. UK motorways. But they head in the same direction. Now we just need to agree on the route. That might take a bit of back and forth, but it doesn't mean we have to kill each other in the process.
We don't have to, actually. What it does is it challenges, because like I always say, marriage is like the best platform for personal growth, personal development.
Come on, coach.
So what it does is it allows us to challenge ourselves, to think through for instance, why I feel this idea is the best in this situation. and I expect you to do the same. And when we bring it together and we're able to passionately talk about why we think this is the route and you think about this is the route, in the grants, because most times the ideas don't just stand on their own. There are other things coupled in the future which we're all looking at in trying to weave this thing in terms of the vision for the kids and even for us. If we're able to have those discussions, challenge our ideas and everything, what might happen is we might not even take just one person's opinion. So it might not be mine and it might not be yours, but we might create a synergy whereby we look at, okay, how do we look at this? How can we take from this idea in terms of the school or, in that situation? How can we create something even better than what two of us thought about? Now, it might be that we go with, say, yours, but we might need to just refine it.
We'll probably go with mine.
I know. But like you said, the wife is always right.
Happy wife, happy life, they say. But now, do you know what? We say something better. Happy spouse, happy house.
I like that.
Yeah.
So that's a new one.
That's a new one.
Is that from you, Adaeze?
No. I wish I could claim it, but I can't. I won't get away with that. There was something that was running through my mind as you were speaking, and it was right. It's this thought about conflict. Again, a reason why having conflict in your marriage is not such a bad thing. Because actually, I think you learn more about your partner and gain a deeper understanding of them in those conflict periods than when everything is fine. We don't question anything. We don't seek understanding of our partners when we're just skipping through life. Right? We don't learn about how their mind works, what makes them tick, what motivates them, demotivates them. Why did my partner get defensive when we spoke about that? Why did they light up? Why did they get passionate? Why does this mean so much to them? We only learn that usually in the points of those conflicts.
True. And it's a good thing because you need to really understand this person because both of you are on a journey and you're going to keep evolving. And to even help that person to be the best they can be, if the person is dealing with even self-esteem issues, you pick it within all those periods.
Right, exactly.
And because you have built trust, it's easy to, with love, to help that person blossom, grow, into a more healthy, self-esteem, healthy person. But if you guys are being careful, what will happen is you probably will have a mediocre marriage.
It's a very mediocre marriage.
Where you guys were not able to push yourselves to be the best you can be, to experience the best you could experience.
When couples say, do you know what? Since being with my partner, I've become a better person. Yes, it's through the power of influence. So just learning from each other by watching each other, how each other operates. But also in those points of being challenged. Hey, I need to call out this behavior. Hey, the way you spoke to me made me feel like this. Hey, the way that you behaved upset me. And it's like, oh my God, I've got to grapple with this thing within me now. And I've got to grow and become better. Right? And that's how over years, when you allow those healthy conflicts to take place, you can then look back and say, oh, my partner made me a better person. But it wasn't because they were holding your hand saying, hey, it'd be nice if you do this. It's because they were challenging you. Challenging you, right? And make you uncomfortable and shine a light on certain areas of you, usually in the point of conflict.
True. Because, like I say, both of you are representing what you have in a marriage. Adaeze Chiwoko, you're representing that brand.
I like the way you said that.
You like that?
Chiwoko. It's my husband's name, yes.
So you're representing that brand.
Yes, I am.
And he, wherever he is representing that brand.
Yes, and brand Team Chiwoko.
So wherever you guys are, what will be happening is this. You want to be somebody who, when people see you, they respect that brand.
Come on.
You understand? Now, you can't have that if you don't keep on evolving, growing. And it's the same thing with him. And then, which transcends to the kids. And so, at some point, you guys will always have this clash of ideas, challenging each other. Even for the person, if there are certain behaviors of your spouse that you feel your spouse can work on and be better in, because there is trust already, your spouse already knows that you're coming from a place of love. And where there is that love, even how you are coming at the issue is from a place of, you're coming from a place of, this is something that will be good for you. Because you're going out there, you're going into the world, maybe you snap too easily at people, you could work on that. And obviously there could be conflicts, issues concerning that discussion. But then the person is able to challenge his or herself to start putting to practice that my spouse doesn't think this thing is something I should just take as part of me. I should grow out of this. And so I should push myself. For me, I feel with couples, there's nothing as inspiring. Like for me, if my wife feels this, I could be better in something. Whenever I think of that, I try to push myself to be better in that thing. You know, I love it when she come and say, "Oh, you see this thing, you're good in it now." You know, and that's the thing. But first of all, it has to come from her being bold enough to bring out that issue, and which might bring defensiveness, conflict, things of that nature. But then if she's able to, passionately bring out her ideas and we discuss those ideas, she might not rub it in as such, which understanding each other, she knows I've gotten it. And then I start working on them. So that's the part where I see these things can actually help couples be better. And even in those periods, you have aspirations, you're able to push yourself. Because if you feel like, oh, my wife is just settling or my husband is just settling for this career or this kind of thing, where you see potential, where he can be this, obviously, when you bring those discussions, there's going to be maybe some sort of defensiveness and all. But if you're able to challenge the person, support the person, have conflict about it, not every time, but you keep on, at some point, the person starts buying into the idea. And that's why I told you some points that couples are the best life coaches for each other in the right situation. Because the coach is almost like a cheerleader. It's an accountability partner. It's, it's all that. It's somebody who can inspire. What better than your partner who knows you and takes your issue as their own issue, So in that situation, even with the conflicts, you're able to support, because coaching, a lot of conflicts are in coaching. If I'm coaching you, I'm going to debate certain things with you because I'm challenging you to become the best version of yourself. So I can't leave you in your comfort zone. I'm going to have to debate you on certain ideas you think, which are probably keeping you safe where you want to be, but you are looking at somewhere you want to go to. I'm going to challenge all that.
Right.
And you're going to take action. So that's why I'm saying that conflict is very necessary for every team, especially even in marriage. Yeah.
And I think that obviously, again, we're not encouraging people just go off and fight, definitely pick your battles and definitely decide on the areas that you do want to have these difficult conversations. But I think hands down, avoiding conflict is far more damaging than actually being prepared to address your issues head on, hands down. And I think that what couples struggle with in the idea of this is, we are together as one. We are united.
That should be the first,
right?
Yeah.
We are united, but they think that unity means agreeing on everything. Whereas we're not going to agree on everything. But what healthy couples do is do that back and forth.
And create something even better from that one. Which
meet in the middle or say, okay, I'm going to trust you enough and love you enough to go with yours and relinquish mine. Or say, actually,
create something, even a third one besides whatever both of us are thinking
Or
about.
it could be like, I don't agree. You see things differently. And guess what? That's also okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because what we want to encourage in marriage is two people as well that has individuality and might see the world slightly differently and have different perspectives. And, you like to talk about teams. I see it in that way. And I think I've said this before. As a business owner myself, if I'm looking to expand my team and really become competitive in the market, I'm not going to take on somebody who thinks and sees everything the same way I do.
One person is unnecessary.
right?
Yeah.
I'm going to take somebody on who has a different perspective.
Complementary skills.
Right.
Yeah.
But then if I do that and then I squash their point of
Then
view.
what was the point?
I squash their perspective. I don't want to hear it unless you agree with me, then you're wrong. Then there was no point. But actually, the best couples celebrate and accept differences. And then, like you say, okay, well, how can we find something that works for us? You know, when I deal with this couples, because my husband and I, we had the cultural difference thing. I'm British born Nigerian. He's Malawian born Malawian, living in Britain. So
that's amazing.
There was some cultural differences on many levels, and you know that alone will bring conflict.
Of course.
And you know, naturally, you're fighting for what you know. This is what I know. This is how we do it in Britain and as a Nigerian. You know, and he's like, well, this is what he knows as a Malawian. And so, getting to that place of accepting each other, seeing where the differences are and the point of conflicts, being brave enough to challenge them and speak about them, and then saying, hey, well, if this culture doesn't work for you, let's scrap it and create our own.
Of course. Exactly.
Let's scrap that.
That's the synergy I'm talking about. Where two people come to create something for both of them. We mustn't, let's leave yours, let's leave mine. Let's create something for us.
Right.
You understand? So I think that's the thing. That's the thing about healthy conflicts, because when you have healthy conflicts, then you can have deeper commitments. Because this is another part to it. Is this, I see, when couples have conflicts, they have to come at it not as competitors. This is very important, because if the male probably is raising his voice, there's a possibility that the wife might check out depending on her personality. You understand? And as you don't want that. It's not a good thing. I'm
just going to interrupt you though, because just yesterday I had a session with a couple where it was the man that was saying, listen, I'm bullied. And that's what he said. He said, I really feel like I'm bullied in this, because she's a big personality.
Okay.
And he's more quiet. Not that he's less intelligent or anything. It's just
it's a personality thing.
It's a personality thing, and she can talk. And so he was like, I feel bullied. You know, and I try and bring my opinion across, and it's just shut down. So I just wanted to say that, because it's not always sort of the male who is the dominant figure when it comes to things.
And most times this thing comes from how they have grown up. And like I said, marriage is like a mirror. It should reflect to you where you need to work on.
Right.
It should reflect to you where you need to work on. I mean, if your husband is feeling that way, it should tell you something. Now, most times, probably, I've seen this working with leaders of organization. In trying to build organizations and all, they might need to be that warrior, they might need to be that imposing ego and all that. When you come to your marriage, when you come home, you should know that this is your partner, this is your companion.
Yeah.
The dynamics has to change. It's not the way you're trying to negotiate deals out there is the same way you're going to try to negotiate with your partner.
No.
It's a different
dynamic.
Not
a competition. You're not trying to... Okay, so here's how I always describe it. And again, my husband and I, we had to learn this. And we used to see it as, you know, we're in a boxing ring, boxing conflict, and I'm wearing the red shorts, he's wearing the blue shorts, in the opposite.
Rocky.
Yeah, and it's like, right, who's going to win?
Okay.
And that was the completely wrong approach until we realized, wait a minute, we're on the same team.
Yeah.
We're both, well, I wouldn't wear the blue shorts, so we're both definitely wearing the red shorts. We're both wearing the red shorts. And I think that this is really, if people can grasp this, this is what's really going to help you in your conflicts. When you see yourself not in an opposing position, but in tangent, like we are standing side by side, and we're not the issue. Me and my partner is not the issue. The issue over there is the issue. So the issue is on the opposite side of the ring. Me and you are on the same
side.
And so now, so now we're not trying to fight each other and win each other. Now we're trying to fight and win the issue, the problem together.
Exactly.
So that might mean we need to strategize as a team, and that might mean the back and forth.
True.
But the overall objective is how we're going to squash and beat that.
Yeah, true.
How we're going to beat you problem. Yeah. Boom. All right, I think I feel like we dealt with that.
So.
Yeah. Right, well, as usual, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you are loving the conversations and want more, which I'm sure you do. Share and the notification bell so you never miss when we go live. And if you're not already, make sure you're following me at Marriage Number 4 Real.
Genius Metaphor.
And if you're more of a audio person, head over to Spotify and you can listen to us on the go. We'll see you in the next episode. And this was brought to you in partnership with Zuma Coffee.